What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Cloud O Smoke YouTube channel. T Cloud here as always. July 4th's coming up, so what a better way to party like it's 1776 than cooking a big old slab of meat. Stick around. I'm going to cook my first pack of brisket this weekend, so yeah, let's see how this goes. So what we have, or what I started with, was a 15-pound full packer brisket, which that means it has both the point and the flat meat on it. So I took it in and I did a simple trim on it, and again, this is my first one, so it's kind of hacked up a little bit, but the main goal of this was to get rid of some of the fat but not all the fat. And like over here, there was just a great big pocket of fat, so we got rid of that. But now that we've got it trimmed up, now we got to season it up, and I'm just going traditional Texas style with 2 parts black pepper to 1 part kosher salt. So we'll start with the bottom. And this is a big chunk of meat. It can take a seasoning. The one thing you're worried about is over salting it. And we want to get that nice, dark, not burnt, but black color. That's the bark. Everybody's always concerned about the bark. So just give it a pat. Flipped over. Do the same to the other side. You want to make sure you come in here and try to get your sides. We want this thing fully encapsulated in seasoning. I get the end down here, pick up anything that was left on the board, because that's all the salt and pepper I had in the house. So now we'll get our thermometer put in. I'm going to put it down here in the point, which is the fatty, thicker end of the brisket, and then we'll get it transferred over to the pit. All right, so I've got the brisket on the smoker, pit, cooker, whatever. It does it all. It's the one thing I like about this. I've got the thick side towards the control side of the smoker, because that tends to be the hot side on this one, because all the air is coming from this side and being pushed over this way. And guess I got a pan down here. So that is the trimmings off the brisket. So whatever fat meat I took off this, I put in that pan, and we're gonna let it go with the brisket, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own beef tallow. So essentially beef tallow is rendered beef fat, so think of it like bacon grease of brisket, and we're gonna do something a little special with that later. So I've got the Masterbuilt gun around. I've got it set to 230 degrees. So anywhere between 225 and 250 is where we're going to start at. And we're going to let this roll until it hits, I don't know, it's my first one. I'm thinking 170. We'll see how hard it stalls. I've got all day. The cookout we're doing is tomorrow. So I want to get it done by this evening, so it's around 10 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully it's done, at 10 o'clock tonight. Hopefully midnight is the latest. So that way we can take it off. I'm going to throw it in a cooler overnight. That way it rests. So hopefully we have a somewhat decent brisket when everybody shows up tomorrow. So stay tuned. All right, so for our brisket, we've been going, I think we're up to 4 hours now. Let's take a look at it. Ooh, look at that. A beautiful mahogany color. Good looking bark. You see the fat starting to render down. And I don't know if you can see in there, I don't have my gloves. We got some liquid gold going on in there. So that's just, that's our trimmings. And it's starting to render down and turn into just, beef tallow. So we'll let this keep going, because if you're looking, you ain't cooking. So let her go a little bit longer before we decide to wrap it up, and I'll see you then. All right, so the briskets hit a temp of 180 degrees in the point, and it looks awesome. You see it shrunk up. A lot of fat is rendered out of it. It's got a nice bark going to it. So the whole reason we're gonna wrap it up, it kind of does two things. The big one is we don't want it to dry out any more than it already is. The second is just kind of help speed up the cooking process. So I've just got some butcher paper here, and to make it a little bit easier, I'm just gonna soak it down a little bit with some vinegar that I've got in a spray bottle that I keep on hand. All right, so before I actually wrap it up, you remember that beef tallow we were talking about? Well, here's what I've gotten off of it. And we're just gonna do a little bit of this. Oh, a little more there. That's gonna go real nice. So just wrap it up like a Christmas present. Get it over here. I say wrap it up like a Christmas present, and I can rebuild engines. I can use woodworking tools and metalworking tools. I can't wrap a Christmas present to save my life. My wife thinks it's hilarious. So got it wrapped up. I bumped the heat up on the smoker to 275. This is going to go on until we reach an internal temp of 200 to 203 degrees, and it's probe tender. So time to get her back on the pit. All right, so brisket has hit 200 degrees internal temp. We've been going 12 hours, so 12-hour cook. I pulled it off, went ahead and unwrapped it, and I just wanted to see that just sinks right through it. There's a couple little tough spot in the lean part of it, but for the most part, it's probing like butter. Look how that is beautiful looking. So, we're not quite done yet. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna put it in a cooler overnight. That way it can do a rest. Just kind of let it relax, let it absorb any of the juices that I've collected in the butcher's paper. And then tomorrow around lunchtime, we'll slice into it and see how we actually did. See you then. All right, so we let the brisket rest overnight. Let's see. Ooh, that looks good. So the last thing to do is slice into it. And I'm gonna go right here between the point and the flat. Still got some juice running out of it. Nice smoke ring. I'm gonna cut a couple 1/4 inch slices. I don't have the greatest knife to do this with, but I think it's tender. The bark's falling apart a little bit, and I think that's because I don't have a good enough knife. Point looks good. Here comes slice. That looks money. Still nice and moist after sitting in the cooler all night. Only thing that make this better, I don't think I forgot about this, did you? Just a little bit more beef tallow. Why not? Just to give it, moisten it up a little bit. This stuff's falling apart. Breaking right apart. I think it's tender. So, yeah, let's try it. All right, so Bailey's never had brisket before. Let's break a piece off here.
It's delicious.
Is it good?
Love it. I love it. I suggest it.
All right, well, if the kid says it's good, I gotta try it. Don't mind the hat. It's hotter than balls out here today. That's worth that. You can dry it out a little bit, but I think that's because it cooled off. But all in all, I think it was a pretty good success. So if you guys like what you see, you want to see me do more experiments, give me a like and subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you later.